Hello, everybody. Dr. Adana here. So we have Manny. I don't know where he is on your screen. He's down below on mine. But Manny is our standard process rep, and he is going to go through a little presentation just to kind of let you guys know a little bit more what this cleanse is. This is a cleanse that Dr. Chris and I have done, I don't know, probably 10 times by this point. I love that it's always changed and it's evolving and it's got flavors and not. And so it's something that you will absolutely have great success doing. Even though, I said, don't do the 10-day, like I mentioned in the other video, there is a 10 and a 28-day option. If that's how you feel like you want to start, fabulous. At least it's, peeling back a little bit of a layer of whatever detox or whatever toxins we've been exposed to. And then the other portion of it is, we'll talk about maybe some extra things to add in just to better support this entire detox. My absolute favorite thing about it is that it's nothing harsh on the system, because the first question I always get when I say, hey, are you interested in doing a cleanse? They're like, oh my God, am I gonna have to run to the bathroom? Like, is this gonna just mess up my day? And it is by far one of the most gentle, effective ways to just kind of get that body functioning at an even greater level. So I am very thankful it exists. I'm very thankful that we've done it so many times and that we get to keep doing it just to clear out our systems. So Manny, the floor is all yours. Tell us all about our lovely cleanse, and then I'll be back on in a little bit to talk about when we're going to start at Innate, how our ordering is going to go, a little goodie, and then a little raffle that we're doing. So there you are.
Thank you, Dr. Adana, and thank you everyone for joining this and allowing us the opportunity to just explain a little bit more about this program. And so when we talk about metabolic detoxification, for a lot of us, the writing's pretty much written on the wall. For some of us, we might just be looking at, a new year, a new resolution. We want to, do something good and healthy for us. And, for some of us, we may not know whether we need to do a detox or not. Maybe we're up against a wall and are considering doing just some, support for our spouse or our partner who might be, considering doing this program. So we'll talk a little bit about what the program entails, who's the right candidate for it, what you should be doing during the program, what you're going to be doing, what you're not going to be doing, and basically what sort of outcomes you can expect from a full metabolic detox like this program. And so, like I said, for some of us, the writing's pretty much written on the wall. Maybe we just find ourselves gaining weight. And no matter whether we're dieting or counting calories or exercising like crazy, we can't shake the weight off. Maybe for some of us, our skin is not looking its best. Maybe we're breaking out in rashes, or we're having, acne and things like that we've never had before. For some of us, it could be just, dealing with chronic headaches daily. It could be a fatigue issue. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep, or maybe you're sleeping, but you're still feeling tired. For others, it could be, maybe you're not normal anymore. Maybe you're not having normal bowel movements and going to the bathroom like you normally used to. And for some of us, maybe we're having that unpleasant conversation with the medical doctors, and they're telling us our cholesterol is too high, or our hormones are out of balance, or, the blood pressure is too high and blood sugars all over the place. So we may need to go on medication. And so for those of you, if the shoe fits, if you will, this would be an ideal program for you. And like I said, if you're considering doing it as support for your partner or spouse, or you're not really sure because some of these things don't really fit you, a couple things to take into consideration. We live in a very dirty world. Especially here in the United States, the statistics tell us, there's over 80,000 chemicals registered for use in products in the marketplace. We spray over 800 million pounds of herbicides in our fruits and vegetables annually. There's over 160 industrial chemicals that are in use in home products, from carpets to beds to sofas and those sort of things. And there's that one thing that's not really talked about. We always hear about places like India and places like Brazil and places like China that have these huge, massive cities, and they have some of the worst air quality, you know. But one place that we never really hear mentioned is Los Angeles. We rank up there in the top 5 worst air quality in the
Wow.
world, you know. And for some of us, when we come into, you know, say we're coming back from Pasadena, going through the mountains, you know, you can see in the afternoon the cloud of smog that is over Glendale and over Los Angeles. Sometimes you can't even see the sky rises in LA. So, you know, we live in a very dirty place, and that's something to take into consideration. You know, when you take a look at beauty products and hygiene products, you know, that's something to consider, because our skin is our largest organ in the body. So everything that we put into our skin gets absorbed. And, you know, just to put into perspective, you know, in Europe, there's over 2,000 banned chemicals in cosmetic products. Only 6 of those make the list here in the United States. So, you know, our skin absorbs everything we put on it. So, you know, and if that's not it, you know, depending on the diet that we follow, you know, we may be healthy or we may be toxic. And by diet, I don't mean, are you counting calories? Are you skipping meals? You know, are what I mean is, are you cooking your food at home? Or, you know, do you find yourself eating out every single day? Are you eating, you know, or sitting in the fast food lines 5, 6, 7 times a week? You know, because if that's the case, you know, your body may be toxic. You know, and food is important because you want to, you know, just to put it in perspective, when we look at our ancestors, our grandparents and their parents, you know, when we look at the way they ate, nothing came out of a box. You know, they piled on the proteins and fats. The milk literally came from the cow to the dinner table.
Right.
You know, they ate normal portions of food. And nowadays we can't really say that, because, you know, America is one of those countries, bigger is better, you know, so it kind of seems like every year food portions just get bigger and bigger. And we have to look at food, because when we look at our ancestors, they lived longer. They didn't have the lifestyle diseases that we see today, you know, such as cancer, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Cancer wasn't prevalent like it is today, and heart disease was so rare it wasn't even categorized at one point. You know, so food is important. We are what we eat, if you will. You know, and just some statistics to look at. You know, 23% of the U.S. household food budget goes to processed food. You know, 1 in 4 Americans visits a fast food restaurant. You know, and with things being shut down over the last 2 years, and fast food restaurants, liquor stores being some of those things that have remained open and
Right.
essential, you know, I'm pretty sure that statistic is a lot higher these days, you know. And just to put it into perspective, in the 70s, about $3 billion went to fast food. Today, we spend over 110 billion. And like I say, these numbers are, you know, a couple of years old. So with the pandemic and everything going on, I'm sure those numbers are a lot higher. You know, and a scary thought, McDonald's feeds more than 46 million people
That is
a
really
day.
very sad.
You know, and they're not exactly the healthiest food option, you know. And when you take a look at the way we eat here in the US, you know, there's a reason why we ranked as the highest obese nation in the world. You know,
Right.
Mexico sits at number 2, and, you know, Mexico is the biggest consumer of Coca-Cola in the world. They have 3-liter bottles. They don't have 2-liter bottles
Wow.
of soda there. You know, and one thing, I visit Mexico, you know, for the holidays annually. And over the years, I've noticed, you know, this last time that I was there, I noticed that there was Jack in the Box there now. So now they've made their, you know, stake in the marketplace there, and they have Burger King, and they have Pizza Hut, and they have Starbucks in every corner. You know, and so they're starting to adopt a lot of the diet and a lot of the things that we see here in the US, and they're right behind us as far as the obese rankings go. And so when, you know, you look at detoxification programs, you know, why is Dr. Adana and Dr. Chris taking a look, you know, using this particular program? You know, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of great marketing behind these programs, and you can do other things out there, you know. But when you want to do a metabolic detox, you want to target all the areas of digestion, you know. And if you've done one of these diets in the past, or you've done a program, you know, where you're supposed to be detoxing, but, you know, you find yourself losing weight, and as soon as you finish your program, you go back and you yo-yo back and put on those pounds. This is a pretty good illustration of what's going on. So our body looks at toxins as a danger. And so in order to protect us from the toxins, it stores fat. And the fat basically keeps and houses those toxins. So when you do a proper metabolic detoxification program, you eliminate the toxins and you feel better, you look better, you don't yo-yo, you don't put the weight back on. But if you're not doing a full metabolic detox program, you're losing weight because you're either skipping meals or you're counting calories and are on a caloric deficit. So you'll lose some weight, but you're not getting rid of the toxins. So the moment you end up going back to your normal diet, you put the weight back on, and sometimes you put it on, double the weight. So when you do a proper metabolic detox, you will eliminate the toxins, and a byproduct of eliminating toxins is losing fat. So, when you do a detox program, you will lose some weight, but that's one of the advantages of doing a full metabolic cleanse. You do not end up going back. And how do we know that we're, doing a full metabolic cleanse? Well, you're targeting the 3 areas of detoxification: the liver, the kidneys, and the digestive system. And those things are important because there's 3 phases to it. There's the unlocking phase, where you're turning fat soluble toxins into a water soluble form. Phase 2 is when you're neutralizing them and you begin mobilizing them. And phase 3 is when you eliminate them. And that's one of the most important aspects of a full metabolic cleanse, is elimination, because if you're not eliminating, you're basically reabsorbing all those toxins that you're trying to get rid of and get out of the body. So I sometimes cringe when I hear people say, oh, I did a liver detox, or I did a kidney cleanse, because, you have to target all 3 areas. And trying to approach a detox is a great thing, but you want to be sure that you're doing it the proper way.
And I mean, I'm going to interject for a sec. I think the word detox sometimes is like scary to people, or they're like, no, I don't want to be involved. But when I hear you talk about all that stuff, I like picture people who have done it in the past. And not only did it make them feel better, but I think them feeling better is what then led to like them exercising more and sleeping better. And like, they just started to feel less of that gunk, so that's my favorite part about it. Like it does so much, but I think it's a massive mindset shift, because then you start to function so differently, and you get out of this like rut of like, well, this is just how I'm going to be now. Like I can't do it, or I tried to work out and my joints hurt, or, like the excuses, there's less excuses.
Right. Less excuses. And like you say, you will feel better. You will feel more energized. You're going to like the way you're feeling. So you're going to want to continue doing some of the things that got you to where you're at that point where you're feeling well. So, with all the programs that are out there, there's so many options to pick from. Why this program, and please feel free to, chime in. Our company has been around since 1929. We have a 1,200 acre farm in Palmyra, Wisconsin. We're MOSA certified. For anyone that's not familiar with that wording, MOSA certification is the highest certification you can get for organic farming. So our farms have been MOSA certified since the 80s. And everyone that works on our farm, all our farmers have degrees in regenerative farming. So they know how to treat the soil. They rotate crops. They never plant in the same area. And, they know how to bring life to the soil, which is kind of like the key. If you've ever tried some of the supplements that Dr. Adana uses in her office, and you feel good about it and feel well when you take these things, it's because they're highly nutritious, because all the minerals and everything is coming from the soil. And so we take great pride in making sure that we bring the soil to its highest mineral content, so that we can create and grow, highly nutritious foods, which we then turn into supplements. So that's one aspect of it. But, this is a program that has been put together by doctors. Another thing I didn't mention about our farm is that it's fully available for our practitioners to come in and see. So our doctors can go visit the farm, see how we're growing crops, how we're planting things, how we're harvesting them, and how we're turning these wonderful foods into supplements. And I think that's important, because we're probably the only company that gives give out that much transparency and allow our practitioners to come in and see us. But more importantly, this is a program that's been put together by medical doctors. Most recently, about 4 years ago, the Scripps Research Institute down at the University of San Diego actually put patients that were type 2 diabetic through this program and got some amazing results through it. The studies are available. So if you want to read through these things, Dr. Adana can, give you access to those. So this isn't something that myself and the other reps have put together, or the company is just trying to market out there. This is actually a tested program that was put together by medical doctors and has the clinical research behind it, which I think is huge, because it will give you results. And so, when we talk about detox programs and I see what's out there, one of the things that I'm always like sort of cringing about is, I take a look at a program and I look at what's in the back and what's at the label, and I can read 2-3 things out of the 300 things that are on there. When you look at our program here, it's got 17 grams of plant-based protein, but when you look at all the ingredients, you can actually read all the ingredients that are on here, and so we're giving you a whole food source of fiber in the apple pectin. We're giving you the things in the carrot and the Spanish black radish that will give your liver the ability to go through phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification.
That's the biggest game changer for the liver. I was on Spanish black radish personally for a really long time when I had like hormone imbalance that I was working on. That's one of the things that was a staple. And I just realized, I think I've been on standard process stuff for like 19 years since like it's been a really long time. Like I've used a ton of it, but Spanish black radish is amazing. I don't love the smell as much, but it's amazing.
It's very pungent.
It is.
But yeah, so you can read everything that's in the label, and when we look at our detox program, this is an excellent image of what a good detoxification program is. You're giving your body whole food and you're giving it all the right things to have your liver, your kidneys, and your digestive system sort of engaged in that phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of the detoxification process. And so when we talk about the program, what are we going to be doing? This is a great program because you're not going to be counting calories. There are some things that you want to stay away from while you're doing the program. And the whole idea behind that, it's not that, we're going to pick on certain things and we don't want you to take those things. Right. You want to eliminate as much toxin exposure, and you want to stop introducing toxins into the body. So you give your body the ability to sort of clear out and get rid of all those toxins. So when it comes to the program, there's a couple options, and I would say talk to Dr. Adana, talk to Dr. Chris about which option would be best for you. But just as an example, if you're going to do either one of these programs, day 1, you have a shake followed by some foods. You're going to be eating throughout this program.
Right.
You're not going to be skipping meals. You're not going to be counting calories. Days 2 and 3, same thing. Day 4, you start introducing 2 shakes into your regimen. And then it gets to a point where we're at 3 shakes a day. And then we build back down to 2 and then to 1. But as far as the schedule of the detoxification shakes, this is what you're going to be doing daily. When it comes to food, this is an excellent idea or an excellent image of a good meal. You have a lean protein, you have a good carb in there, it's mostly greens and vegetables, and you have some antioxidant fruit. Obviously, if you have certain goals, you're going to want to talk to the practitioners to see, which route you want to go and how you want to approach with what you're going to be eating. But this is just a good illustration of what a good meal looks like. As far as the foods go, you're not going to be going to farmers market. You're not going to have to be hunting down for some of these foods. These are things that you can find at your local grocery stores. We encourage that you eat organic as much as possible. If that's not an option, there is a list here on the left of things that you want to avoid while you're on the program, because these foods, these vegetables and fruits are the ones that are the most heavily sprayed with pesticides. And the whole idea about eating organic, again, you want to eat clean so that you're not introducing toxins to your body, and you're giving it a break and a chance to eliminate what's already present in your body. Again, more illustrations of the sort of foods: good fats, good healthy grains. Obviously, if there's some issues with grains, then you will talk with the practitioners, and they'll let you know whether something is a go or not. Again, good options for lean protein, so you're not going to be eating the same thing every day. You can always switch it up. An abundance of fruit. The booklets you guys will receive, the ones with a little star next to them, those you want to eat in moderation, because obviously those are the ones with a high glycemic index. And so, if you're looking at doing fruits, when you're doing something like this, you know, the darker the berries, the better. They're high in antioxidants. They're a great source of carbohydrates, and you know, they're sweet. And so if you're putting these in your shakes, or if you're having them in your meals, they're going to make you feel full. They're going to give a different flavor to your shakes. So you have an abundance of choices. As far as what you want to stay away from and avoid, you want to avoid the foods that are in the aisles, the box food, the canned foods, the processed foods. These are processed with a lot of chemicals, a lot of colors, a lot of fillers, a lot of sugars. Everything that is zero fat or low fat is loaded with sugar. You know, and so again, the whole idea behind avoiding some of these things is to give your body a chance to eliminate all the toxins that are there without introducing any more. You know, spirits are wonderful and all, but you know, the way those things are made, when you consume them, they come in with a lot of toxins. So there's a reason why you want to avoid that. Coffee, I'm not a, you know, I like coffee myself. And, you know, if this is something that you want to do during the program, you can talk to your practitioner about it. You know, I wouldn't harp too much on the coffee, so long as you can have it black with no sugar and no dairy and none of that funky stuff that you can get at Starbucks or those sort of places. But if you can avoid that as well, even better. But again, I leave that up to the individual and the practitioner's advice.
Yeah, I always tell people, if you can take it off, but also be okay with like tearing it off. Like anytime I've done it, I feel like by day 4 or 5, I'm okay. And this is not anymore. Like this was back in chiropractic school when my coffee consumption was out of control. Like now I could stop it at any point. But when I would do this during school, I would give myself about 5 days. So I would do like a cup a day, a half a cup the next, so on and so forth, until I was down to like nothing. And then by that point, we were kind of deep into the cleanse. So it wasn't a problem.
Right.
And
Yeah.
organic black coffee is not the reason you have what you have.
Right. Exactly.
Other stuff.
Yeah. And so things you can expect once you complete one of these programs, you know, like I said, weight loss is a byproduct of eliminating toxins out of the body. Your body is storing the toxins and fat. So if you get rid of the toxins, you will lose weight. You're going to have a better digestive system. Your sleep quality is going to be much better, which means you're going to be more energized. You're going to have clearer skin, mental clarity, you know, and you're going to feel great, you know, and hopefully this kind of connects the dots, you know, and shows you how eating healthy how it makes you feel, you know, and you can take a look and compare how you were feeling prior to doing one of these programs versus how you feel once you complete one of these programs. And I hold these programs close to my heart because at one point I was at, you know, my biggest, or however you want to put it, at my fullest, if you will. There was a point where I was almost 280 pounds. I did a number of these programs, and you know, this was a long time ago. This was about 9 years ago. And my takeaway from it was, you know what, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what my body was going through, what the foods I was eating, how they were affecting me. You know, and people sometimes say that's pretty impressive. You know, I lost 70 pounds in a year period of time doing a couple of these programs. But I think the most impressive part is that I learned how to eat properly, and I never put that weight back on, you know. And so again, there's that whole yo-yo aspect. And, you know, a chiropractor took care of me when I was doing these programs. And, you know, I went into basically a metabolic patient, you know, with cholesterol issues, blood pressure issues, overweight, chronic inflammation, digestive issues, low energy. You know, when I walked away, I remember telling him, I feel great. I've lost so much weight. I look good. I feel great about myself, you know. And he reminded me how I came in there, and he said, look, I feel great that you don't have chronic pain anymore, that you actually sleep, you know, that you don't get sick frequently, that you don't have high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You know, so everyone's got a different story. This is mine. With these particular programs, this is something that, you know, I don't do 4 times a year like I did that first time. I do it annually. I'm currently doing the program at the moment. You know, and nowadays we just do it to sort of just reset our metabolism, my wife and I. But you know, I had a really great experience with it, and I love talking about this program. And it's evolved. You know, it was a little bit different when I did it. Now it's, you know, either a 10 or a 28-day option, but either way, it's still a great program that offers great results. And like I said, we have the clinical research behind it to show it.
I did it back to back. when it was 21 day, that was a part of one of like my hormone rebalancing. I had to do a 42-day one. And by like the 40th day, I was like, I just want a drink. As
Yeah.
that was the only thing, but it was a game changer. Like it was a game changer on top of everything else that I was taking and doing at the same time. But I needed to do it more than once too, just because I think that first time really helped move a lot out. And then it was like, nope, that liver needs a ton more work. So let's go.
Yeah, no, and those were the same programs I did. I did the 21-day programs to start off, and those changed my life. And I kind of find myself where I am today. And so, everyone has a different story. Everyone's doing these programs for a different reason. If the main concerns are metabolic issues, cholesterol, blood pressure issues, those sort of things, you maybe find yourself having those conversations with the doctors. This might be something ideal that you might want to consider. Again, everyone's different, so this would be something to be worth mentioning to Dr. Adana or Dr. Chris, if you're going to be doing the program. If sugar cravings are a thing and you have a sweet tooth, Gymnema in Ayurvedic culture, that translates to the sugar destroyer. This is an awesome supplement because it basically cancels out your sweet receptors. And so it reduces sweet cravings. It supports your pancreas, which plays a big role in digestion, but also plays a big role in regulating your blood sugar. So again, if sweet cravings are a thing and you think this might hold you back, this might be worth considering and bringing up to Dr. Adana. Again, if hormone imbalances are a thing, the program has just the necessary things to make sure your body is clearing out that sort of stuff. But this is an ideal supplement for someone that's either estrogen dominant, or is having testosterone issues, or is having progesterone issues, whatever it may be. If it's a hormonal thing and that's the reason why you're doing this program, this might be a good support option that might it may be worth bringing up to Dr. Adana. And lastly, if you are taking over-the-counter pain stuff, if you're doing your Advil or your Aleve or whatever name brand is out there these days, and you find yourself having chronic low back pain or chronic knee pain and joint pain, this might be an option worth considering and bringing up to the practitioners. Again, they will know what options are best for you, and they can make the proper nutritional recommendation for you guys. As far as the ins and outs of this program, I think that's the end for me. I'll pass it back up to you, Dr. Adana, and thank you for letting me take part in this and sharing my experience and just my thoughts on this program and what it's all about.
Thank you, Manny. I appreciate it so much. Kind of like we've mentioned in our other videos, and like we just mentioned, there are two options. Maybe Manny, you can touch on that. Like I always rag on everyone, like, all you want to do is 10 days, but it's obviously still very beneficial. Is there, I'm going to assume that the 10-day is just not going to clean out as much. Like maybe the 10 days for somebody who is not necessarily coming in with like a heavy hitter metabolic diagnosis. We've got the type 2, we've got a high blood pressure, we've got cholesterol. It's for somebody who may be looking for just a little bit of a reset. Am I pretty on point with that?
Yeah. And you know what, it's if you're up against the wall, you're not sure if you can, hang on and do 28 days, this would be a good starting point. Again,
Sure.
we're big on clinical research. So, it takes the body at least 10 days to engage in phase 1, phase 2, and the elimination aspect of a detox program or a cleanse. So this will give you some benefits, but realistically speaking, if your main goal is to lose some weight, reset your hormones, just reset yourself, if there's metabolic issues, the longer program will be a lot more beneficial. For someone like myself, when I started doing these programs, being close to 280, I think that was 276 when I started the first program. There was no other option other than a 21-day program for me, because the longer the better. I had a lot of issues going on. So that was the ideal. There's really no way of sugarcoating that. Both programs work, but if you want the best outcome, if you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to deal with hormones or those sort of things, or metabolic issues, the longer program will be better. But the 10-day program has clinical research behind it to show it works, and it's a great starting point.
Right.
So
And
yeah,
one other thing that's like a third option, I suppose, is we have practice members who just use this on the daily.
yeah,
Like they've done the cleanse in the past, because we always get the question, like, what about when I'm done? Like I did all this, but then what about when I'm done? Right. And so one of the first things we always say is, well, keep up the shakes. Like it's something that you can do on the daily. It's still going to be super effective and just kind of cleaning things out. And some of us like to have protein shakes and things like that anyway. So this is a phenomenal thing to do after,
yeah.
um, just to get even more of a result there.
Yeah, and you know what? Doing a shake daily, it's providing you 17 grams of protein. It's a nutritious meal.
Right.
It's giving you all the minerals and vitamins that your body needs. So it's not necessarily going to give you a full detox as it would in a 28-day period of time, but doing it every day, you're basically having your body go through the detoxification process, which, our liver doesn't shut off after we do a cleanse, and our kidneys don't either. So, if you're doing this daily, you're encouraging and you're giving your body all the things it needs to do it daily. But more importantly, you're giving yourself, a very nutritious meal. Like you touched, people like taking protein shakes. So this has 17 grams in one serving. So this is, a great idea. I mean, a lot of our practitioners, the patients in the older, community, the patients over 60, rather than something like Ensure,
Yeah.
this would be the best meal that they could possibly have. They're getting all the minerals, they're getting all the antioxidants, they're getting all the protein that they need. So yes, this is also an option as well. But again, your patient's best.
Sure.
You can make the proper recommendations to them, but certainly this is something that they can do that way as well.
Awesome. So again, you have your 10-day, you have your 28-day, kind of like you see in the photo. The 10-day, you're going to get 1 tub. The 28-day, you're going to end up with 3 tubs. So it's going to last you a little bit longer. We're going to be emailing. Obviously, you're watching this because we've emailed it out. We are going to be placing our orders. The 17th would be best. You can absolutely place it after 2. There's no start or end date that has to be done. And then we'd like to start it all together. But again, it's most important that you just start. So if that doesn't work, because sometimes I've had people tell me, oh, I have to travel, I have this and that coming up. Set yourself up to win. Like, don't do something when you're going to be out for like 10 days and then you're just going to tank and feel bad. No, just wait and start it February 15th, like set yourself up to win in that sense. And then for anybody that's actually going to order a cleanse, once you've actually placed your order with us, we are going to raffle one off. So one of you might win there too. We will obviously answer any and all questions. Like Manny went over, there are certain supplements that we do like to add to people's care, just depending on what else is going on. Like one I remember we talked about a bunch was if we've got someone who's very heavily working out, well, then maybe we're going to add something else to give them a little bit more protein on top of whatever else that they're doing, because, you're bound to lose some weight and get like some shedding there. So once we actually have you guys sign up, we'll go through that. May or may not add anything else, but that's definitely an option that we will totally consider.
Great.
Lovely.
Oh, I think that is it. If you've got nothing else, Dr. Adana,
I think that's it.
thank you again for having me.
Thank
I
you.
wish everyone that's going to be engaging in this program, success. And yeah, I'd love to hear some stories.
Awesome. Yes, we'll get some good testimonials out after. Beautiful. Thank you, Manny.
Yeah, thank you. Let me